I think it's important that when an ambulance arrives, it arrives as quickly as possible, and that the service provided by the personnel is a professional one and a friendly one, given the circumstances.
Communication is mostly important because the person who's ill wants to know what's going to happen to them and to be made at ease when, you know, when they're in the ambulance.
Where are we going? How long is it going to take?
Yeah.
What about the family?
Exactly.
Can you tell me all that?
Ambulances essentially should be quick, fast. Time is of the essence. You could be in a life-threatening condition, so obviously the quicker they get to you and somebody looks at you, the better.
We're expecting efficient, knowledgeable staff who can handle people as well and reassure and sort of give that extra bit of assurance. I mean, my experience is I've not used the ambulance service for myself personally, but I have been the carer for 3 members of my family, and on 3 occasions for different members we've called the ambulance. When the ambulance service have got there, they have been knowledgeable but importantly reassuring, and I think that does an awful lot to calm patients and the carers, and that must make it an awful lot easier for the staff in the hospital when they get there, because that anxiety of what's happening, what's going on, has been displaced by the ambulance staff in a very friendly and efficient way.
Person with respect and dignity, because not everybody's comfortable in an ambulance. They're scared, they're afraid, they just want to be, reassured.
You mentioned communication. I think talking to people in the ambulance is vital. Putting them at rest, putting them at ease. And sometimes the person who's needs to be listened to as well, doesn't it? Because communication is both ways. It's talking and it's listening. And I think they've got that skill to do that. And put it at ease. It can't be, when you're under any sort of stress and when you're ill, you need to be reassured. And first aid is what it says. It's the first time you get aid, isn't it? And they got to make you calm and collected and all that sort of thing. And I got to praise them for that.
I would expect the personnel that are on the ambulance to be totally aware of what is going on at the time they pick up a patient. The other thing that I would like to have is that I'd like somebody that isn't patronising, that doesn't look down at anybody, who sort of generalises that all people from certain areas have got certain experiences, and look at an individual as an individual.
The first occasion was because I'd had a really nasty pain across here. Chest pain, if you like, or at least it seemed like chest pain. It was in the middle of the night, it was keeping me awake. I'd been awake for 2 or 3 hours. I thought, I've got to do something about it, and I wasn't quite sure what to do. Wife was fast asleep, so I got up, and eventually I thought, well, I'll phone NHS direct, see what they say. But of course, as soon as you mention chest pain, off the ambulance appears at the door. So the guy comes in and says, you better come out to the van. So we go out, and in pyjamas, fine, but it was a fine evening. He does ECGs and so on. Decides that there is a bit of abnormality there. I haven't had a heart attack or anything, but nonetheless it's off to Morriston. Now, my wife still didn't know any of this was going on because she was fast asleep. Okay, so I said, well, he wouldn't let me go back in to the house to get stuff, so he went back in. So of course it ended up with him standing on the landing and saying, Mrs. Adams, and waking her up. Obviously that didn't go down too well, but she did confirm to me that he was very, very good in terms of reassuring her what was going on and the fact that there was nothing to worry about and so on and so on. about 1 o'clock the following day, in the middle of the day, they eventually said, oh, you can go home, because I was still in pyjamas and dressing gowns. Get a taxi and off we went. What happened was, I'd hurt my thumb, and I didn't know how I'd hurt my thumb, but it had, again, it was keeping me awake at night. So the following day I thought, well, I've got to do something about it. We happened to live quite close to Singleton Hospital, so I went down to the minor injury unit, and the doctor looked at it and said, oh no, it's not broken, it's, you know, fiddled around and so on. Probably arthritis, might be gout, go see your GP. Meanwhile, she prescribed a drug called Codamol, which is a codeine product. So I took 2 at 11 o'clock in the morning, 2 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which apparently was a wild overdose. I didn't know that. I did know eventually, because about 5 o'clock or thereabouts, I was sitting on the settee having a cup of tea, and my wife noticed that I was looking a bit odd. She said, you all right? I said, well, no, not really. And I lost consciousness completely. So she phoned 999 and the paramedics turned up. Again, very good, because by the time they arrived I was back conscious. I was out for about 10 minutes apparently. So I didn't know that. Anyway, they came, did an ECG in the house, which I was impressed with. Again, found that things weren't quite as they ought to be, which we knew anyway, but they decided that we'd go to Morrison again, so we did. Not really. I mean, they were very professional on both occasions. Reassured my wife, you know, reassured her particularly because I think a lot of people our generation feel that we're wasting people's time, and they reassured, no, no, you did exactly the right thing, and so on, and that was good. There are a few things. I mean, first of all, making sure that people have got their hearing aids, or that if they have to take them out for some reason or other, they don't get lost and so on. It's very important. Some of our members rely almost entirely on lip reading. So in that case, they do need to see people's lips, and you don't want people talking like that, which is very important. And I think everybody lip reads to a small extent. They don't realise it, but they do. And so, you know, facing people head on and making sure you can see and so on, good light and so on, is important. And just clear speech, yeah, not shouting, but clear.